25 hard boss battles in Mario Maker 2. Today, we're going to feature extremely difficult boss encounters that are also fun and fair. Every battle in this video is super expert difficulty, with most of them at a 1% or lower clear rate. I'm pretty sure I got more deaths from making this video than all the other videos I've ever made combined. Let's get started. The world comes into focus as Luigi opens his eyes to see Mario, Toadette, Jeff the Friendly Wizard, and Thwompador around him. Luigi knows someone or something controlled him to imprison Blue Toad, but he can't clearly remember who. Jeff's magic has detected 3 potential pathways to find Blue Toad, so Toadette, Mario, and Luigi agree to split up to find him. Thwompador explains that all 3 paths have the most difficult bosses any of them has ever faced. They will either save their friend Blue Toad or die trying. Toadette's first encounter on her pathway leads to a dark room. Her only choice is to climb a vine as the auto-scroll pushes upward. As she enters the room, icicles immediately begin to fall around her as a dim light shines on her first enemy, Ludwig. What seemed like a single foe is actually 7 Ludwigs at once. All of them are contained between bullet blasters that are sitting on-off conveyor belts and spew deadly purple Fruit Loops at Toadette. To make things even more difficult, half of the icicles on the ceiling fall when Toadette gets close. Her only hope is to stall long enough for a P-switch to appear at the bottom, for her to activate it and crush all 7 bosses at once. Luigi drops into an underground pipe while searching for Blue Toad. Projectiles immediately bombard him as he slowly descends on winged blue platforms. Luigi aims to reach the bottom of this area while avoiding every Koopaling's attacks. Luigi juggles jumping and dodging, with touching each platform beneath him to make it drop. When he gets low enough, a thwomp hits an on-off switch to let the Ludwigs on each side drop down and continue their onslaught. The further he descends, the more lethal this encounter becomes. If Luigi gets stunned by Morton's butt slam, any one of the spicy projectiles can destroy him. When Luigi reaches the bottom, he ensures that Blue Toad is not here and escapes as fast as he can. Mario enters a tight room with 3 Mortons inside the walls. All 3 of them ground pound to stun Mario while launching fire around the room. The one-way gates let the ground pound fire out into the main area, while the hard blocks and slopes keep the Mortons from moving inwards themselves. Mario wall jumps to avoid the flames and stays in the air as much as possible to avoid being paralyzed. When Mario can survive long enough, an on-off switch is triggered to destroy the Mortons and open a way out. Toadette moves into the next arena and immediately grabs a vine to avoid falling into spikes. She faces Ludwig in a room where she cannot touch the ground. Ludwig fires poisonous marshmallows while Toadette dodges winged lava bubbles and giant Zappa laser beams. With precise timing, she can jump on the glorious-haired turtle without getting hit. After 3 swift attacks, Toadette defeats Ludwig and continues her search for Blue Toad. Luigi decides to climb a snowy mountain to get a better vantage point to find his lost friend. He enters a pipe and is greeted with a line of angry wigglers on tracks, trying to push him into stabby water. As he ascends the mountain, he gobbles a mega mushroom to become Beefy. The wigglers try to trap him against the ceiling, but Beefy Luigi can now smash through hard blocks and frozen coin blocks. If he's too slow or makes a small mistake, the relentless wigglers smash him into the icicles. Once Luigi reaches the peak of the mountain, he stumbles into the frosty Ludwig twins. Beefy Luigi needs to smash through hard blocks and evade grape lifesavers while bouncing on a wiggler train. Any damage will steal his beefitude and he will be unable to shatter the blocks above. Luigi's incredible maneuvers let him break through enough blocks to smack a POW block and defeat both twins to escape. Mario enters a dark place named Quintuple Castle. When he enters, he notices he only has 40 seconds on the clock to finish the entire course and complete 5 boss fights. He runs through the first room attacking Boom Boom as he hits an on-off switch to be able to enter the key door. The next boss requires him to jump back and forth across lava to activate 2 switches and land on a bullet blaster to move on. Big Boom Boom becomes a trampoline as Mario jumps up to trigger a P-switch and then 2 on-off switches. Big Bowser Jr. guards the middle of a room where Mario needs to jump across to attack while creating a safe space to exit. The final room has one more boom boom, and Mario needs to quickly move around the room, get a Goomba stiletto, and ground pound through the blocks to escape. Toadette hopes to find Blue Toad in the forest, but falls into an ominous pit. She lands in loathsome Larry's lair. This room protects Larry with a row of note blocks, 4 winged Spinies shooting spikes, and 2 giant Zappa Mecha Koopas. Toadette's only hope is to move giant munchers from the edges of the screen inward to try to crush Larry. Toadette times her jumps carefully, as a single mistake will cause her to start at the very beginning again. After several close calls, she bounces the munchers into the center and obliterates Larry to grab the key. Luigi's frosty journey continues as he traverses another snow mountain. This one is inhabited by several bosses that make it clear he is unwelcome. Luigi uses Bowser Jr. as a moving platform that follows him as he performs some precise jumps. He taunts the bosses to move exactly where he needs them as he moves through the course and leaves the first area. 3 winged Boom Booms are waiting for him in the next room. He attacks all 3 and has a plan to juggle alternating his jumps on each one to move upward. With some luck, he activates a P-switch and faces the final set of bosses, 3 Bowser Jr.'s. Luigi bounces on them long enough for a P-switch to expire and escapes through the exit door. Ludwig lures Toadette into his new trap. This time, she needs to continually run in circles to escape 2 fire bars while also sidestepping Ludwig's Cheerio projectiles. She hits on-off switches whenever she can to occasionally drop a Buzzy Beetle down from above. Toadette uses these enemies as a weapon and launches them at her captor. After 3 hits, Toadette shatters Ludwig and continues her quest. Luigi sees an airship above the mountains and gets an idea to use it to scout the area below. He finds an angry Morton wearing a fashionable winged muncher ready to fight. In this battle, Luigi cannot jump on Morton directly. He needs to ground pound the seesaw on a track at the right time to launch Morton upward. If he does this correctly, he can give it enough momentum to make Morton's muncher destroy a Bob-omb and damage the boss. The challenge comes from the one-way gates that manipulate the direction of Morton's fireballs and the trampolines that keep him near the center of the room. Once Luigi gets 3 good butt slams in himself, he detonates Morton the Koopaling and moves forward. Mario looks for some shelter for the night and sneaks into an abandoned house. A bullet blaster trap catches him and forces him into the center of the Boo Band. He has no choice but to follow the pathway set up by the ghost circle as he moves deeper into the house. He emerges in a spooky room to face off against Queen Boo. Queen Boo devours Ludwig and Roy and uses their powers to attack Mario while he is trapped in the Boo Band. Mario swiftly evades the projectiles and expertly continues upward. Queen Boo accidentally activates one of her own traps and loses her power as Mario escapes. He has a feeling he will see her again. During flight, Morton's airship crashed into the ocean. Luigi swims to look for a way back to land. He moves through the dark water and eventually comes across an escape pipe. The pipe leads him to Cloud Boo's manor. Luigi's agile jumping keeps him safe from the flying ghosts patrolling back and forth. Luigi grabs springs that drop out of a pipe to throw them upward and trigger on-off switches. After a few hits, a new pipe opens up and spawns a fire piranha plant to make the fight more deadly. A third phase begins when a Bob-omb unblocks the bottom pipe, and spike balls also start rolling into the arena. The resilient green man dodges for long enough that a star drops in from above, granting him disco powers to destroy Cloud Boo and get back to the mainland. Toadette has a hunch that Blue Toad might be trapped on a ship and moves to infiltrate. She enters Roy's room and jumps up onto a platform. All of the platforms are on tracks, moving in opposite directions as Roy appears on random ones and attacks. If Toadette falls, she loses a life, but Roy is able to bounce on note blocks below and jump right back into the battle. Fast bullet blasters appear periodically on the platforms to shoot winged lava bubbles at Toadette. If she gets stunned by Roy's ground pound, she struggles to recover and regain her footing. After 3 skillful attacks, Toadette defeats Roy and leaves this room. Right as she leaves the room, Lemmy seeks vengeance for his fallen comrade. In this arena, Lemmy sits on a high perch protected by bumpers and launches bouncy balls at Toadette. Bob-ombs occasionally blast out of a bullet blaster to hurt her, but she can use those to attack. She needs to bounce on the orbs to get enough height and hit Lemmy directly with the Bob-omb. Each time she deals damage, the 2-state block floor underneath her disappears for a while. When it comes back, a new deadly Zappa Mecha Koopa emerges to make life even more difficult. She conquers that round, and then a giant Blasta Mecha Koopa takes its place. With patience and skill, Toadette manages to vanquish Lemmy and leave this ship. After some peace and quiet, Mario hears a distant sound and moves through a door. He drops into a dim room, into a fire clown car. Queen Boo is back and wants a fair fight this time. Mario is still surrounded by her minions and needs to destroy her shields before he can destroy her. He powers up his weapon and blasts through ice blocks while moving in circles to avoid damage. Once he blasts the first row, he hits an on-off switch and moves on to the next set of shields. Skillful shooting gets him all the way through, and he blasts a question block under Queen Boo, dropping her onto a P-switch that destroys her instantly and grants him the key. Mario teams up with Red Yoshi to take a swim and look for Blue Toad underwater. They stumble into Wendy's submerged fortress, and they need to take her down. Bullet blasters appear, shooting bullet bills across the arena, as Mario and Yoshi carefully swim to avoid grinders and projectiles. The top of the room is lined with icicles that can fall and damage any creature in their path. Mario uses this knowledge to drop a final attack onto Wendy, grabs his Yoshi pal, and escapes this fight. Luigi journeys through a swamp to search for more clues. After some shell surfing, he finds a grim-looking door and enters. Iggy attacks the moment he steps into the room. This Iggy is protected on a platform that moves on a track with 2 muncher walls on either side of him. Iggy also has a giant boo ring patrolling to keep Luigi from getting too close. Luigi moves around the arena counterclockwise to move with the direction of Iggy. Buzzy beetles appear out of pipes that Luigi can grab as ammunition. He picks up a shell and throws it into Iggy's muncher bunker to deal some damage. After 3 successful throws, Luigi destroys this clever turtle and escapes the swamp. Luigi climbs a vine that leads to an island in the sky that seems secluded. Could be the perfect hiding spot for Blue Toad. He enters a room to find Morton and Lemmy have teamed up. Morton stands on top of a structure, guarded by grinders, while Luigi runs on on-off conveyor belts. 2 giant Lemmys contribute to the chaos by adding more bouncy orbs into the arena. The conveyor belts switch when Morton ground pounds, causing Luigi to need to adapt instantly to stay alive. Luigi patiently waits for the perfect moment to strike by bouncing on the giant spheres to attack Morton. In one lucky move, Luigi takes out Lemmy and Morton and can drop to the land below. Luigi's luck has run out as he lands in a forest room full of projectiles. Iggy and Larry shoot projectiles from the sides, 2 Ludwigs from the top, and winged Spinies add spikes to the mix. Just for another element of fun, Pokies patrol either side, making sure Luigi can't get too comfortable. After what feels like hours, Luigi outlasts these baddies as an on-off switch is triggered and destroys them all while granting him a key to freedom. Toadette figures out who is behind all of this. Who has close connections with all of the enemies in the Mushroom Kingdom? Who was the one with Blue Toad in the hidden dungeon, pretending to help him? It all makes sense now. Toadette confronts Thwompador, the true villain behind Blue Toad's capture. She enters Thwompador's domain and drops onto cannons between him and his clone. Thwompador tries to smash Toadette into grinders as she scurries to elude the danger while keeping up with him. Skewers and winged spike tops force her to evaluate the perfect time to move forward with no margin for error. She finally reaches the end of the area where Thwompador is trapped. Toadette grabs a spiked shelmet and tears the evil Thwomp apart bit by bit and escapes through a pipe. Thwompador won't go down that easy. Toadette now rides upward on Rocket Thwompador, equipped with cannons and a burner. Resourcefully, she can use the cannonballs to jump out of harm's way and carefully navigate her way upward. She uses enemies to get ahead of Thwompador and reaches the final showdown. Thwompotron puts up a fight with more cannons and a giant Blasta Mecha Koopa. Toadette leads a missile to an on-off switch to damage the traitor. Using POW blocks and Koopas, she is able to avoid damage and keep hitting on-off switches to eventually activate a P-switch and destroy this menace once and for all. After Thwompatron the Betrayer is completely destroyed, Mario, Luigi, Toadette, and Jeff gather to find Blue Toad in Thwomp Jail. Luigi, feeling bad that he accidentally caused all this mess, picks up a red POW block he kept from his dark times. Luigi throws the POW block at the Thwomp Jail and breaks Blue Toad free. The 5 friends finally relax after their long and strenuous quest.